All right, bam, we're live. We're live. Getting everything set up. Welcome. Interesting. The screen got flipped around. Welcome, PG. If you're new, let me know where you're from. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. We're getting ready. We're just getting ready to get started here. Welcome if you're new. Hey there, B-Dale. Welcome. Yeah. Just making a little camera adjustment on the for some reason everything's backwards today. Welcome. Yeah, if you're new, let me know where you're from, what part of the country you're coming in on. All right. All right, so we'll get started here because that's all we've got for some reason. All right, so here we go. Welcome. This is part of a new version of the challenge. And yeah, hey there, welcome. Let us know where you're from. Fox Radder. All right, just getting started here. All right, appreciate you jumping in. So we're going to talk about some AI remodeling style. If you let me know what part of the country you're from, where you run your business. All right. So everybody's talking ChatGPT these days. It's all the rage, but that's not the only thing you should be using. And there's a few other things out there that are pretty powerful. So let's jump into it. For those of you that want to get into having a little bit more creative content, you can start making your own videos and you can have the AI help you. So you can use Sora, that's Sora. You can use Runway, and you can use Pika, Pika. So these are the things you would do if you want to have like a better intro, sort of like the way HGTV would put something out, and you don't have a full film crew at your disposal. As long as you can take a few before and after pictures, you can upload them in to one of these Runway Pika Labs, and you can transform that into take that still image and transform it into a video. Yeah, so welcome. Let me know where you're from. You can add some music if you like. AI will do that. You can get a pan option. You can do a pan with a zoom. And so, uh, and we're going to go through some of these and show you a little bit later. Ray, welcome. But yeah, so basically what I'm getting at is nowadays, all you have to do is be able to take a nice clean photo, and then you can upload that photo into one of these video AI generating apps, and it will convert your still picture, and you can get a nice pan across and then like a little zoom in and roll out and come back across. You can and make a nice little video, like an 8-second clip that you can put on your social media. If any of you guys have used any of these, Sora, Runway, Pika Labs, let me know. Be curious what your experience has been with them. There's another thing you guys, all right. Yeah, hey, Ray, glad to see you back in here. Welcome back. Yes, sir. Howdy. How are things? Ray, that's no good. We don't want terrible clients. Can you fire them? Yeah. Yeah, the have you yeah, that's horrible. I feel for you. The micromanaging's the worst. They should go back to their job. Like, hey, just go focus on making the money to pay for the job. I'll take care of doing the remodel. Thank you. What's your project? What are you guys working on for them? So Ray, are you the main, are you the GC in this situation? There's no one in between you and the homeowner? Homeowner hired you direct? Is that what I'm hearing? You and your partner? Okay. Yeah, I mean, so 20K profit sounds like a good deal. I don't know how long that means you guys are going to be there. Um, what do you think? Where do you think it went wrong? What do you think's why do you think the homeowner feels like they have to micromanage the deal? Do you feel like they don't? What's their background? Like, do you know what they do for a living other than micromanage remodeling jobs that they shouldn't be? Yeah. Yeah, so he's a yeah, okay, software engineers, that personality style, 100%. This is the way they operate. Um, yeah, it's going to be. So let me ask you, you and your partner, who's in charge of having a sit down with the client? Yeah, like when you was who would do it tomorrow? Like in a perfect world, if you guys wanted to have a sit down with the homeowner, who should do that? Who would instigate that phone call or that meeting? If it's you, um, your partner. Okay. Uh, yeah. So, how far into the job are you guys? Have you gotten through the first draw payment? Like, are you 10 to like 20% into the job? You're at the demo stage. Well, that's good news. I, I, okay. I would be very tempted to ask your partner to have a meeting with the owner. All right. And you sit down, and I can give you guys some strategy, but basically, You tell the homeowner how appreciative you are, how awesome it is that they're involved. Yeah. And you walk them, you ask the homeowner, say, "Hey, do you want to join our team?" And you say, "Do you want to be part of the team?" Like, because right now you're trying to run the job as if you work for us. And if you want to run it, well, then we need to bring you on board. You want to fill out an application? Um, are you looking for a new job? Like, I would kind of just talk to them in the way like, "Hey, buddy, like, this is our, at this point, you've handed the keys over to us. We drive. We'll have a meeting with you, every week. Our whoever, if you're the lead carpenter, whoever the lead is, you should definitely be talking to them on a daily basis, but he shouldn't be running the project." Yeah. Yeah, he's just a control freak. It's unfortunate. There's people like that. Sometimes, yeah, whoever ended up selling the job, uh, sometimes has to be able to ascertain, like, hey, this guy is gonna be, yeah. So control. I mean, he makes good money, so he has money. I think if you follow me, somebody just has to sit him down and talk to him about the too many chiefs, not enough Indians, too many cooks in the kitchen concept, where it's like, hey, like, it sounds like you want to be a GC. Like, maybe you don't want to hire a remodeling company because you want to run the show. Like, we have to run the show. At some point, you're going to have to give us the keys, trust us. Um, yeah. Yeah, your partner's probably going to have a sit down with them. It can be challenging. It sucks. I feel for you. It's not a fun place to be. Yeah, he just has one of those types of personalities. Yeah, this homeowner's just, and there's some people that are like that in the world. They just, it's the only thing that they know. They're control freaks, right? They have to be involved in everything. They end up mucking everything up because they don't really know what they're doing. They just get in the way of it. And they're generally, it's, yeah. Yeah, I guess somewhere along the lines, do you guys do pre-construction meetings where you have the whole discussion about, this is where we stage the project, this is where are we gonna, like, you ask the homeowner, where should we be parking our vehicles, where are we gonna be storing materials when they get delivered? Did you guys go through a process like that up front before you ever started the job? A lot of times at that pre-construction meeting, whoever sold the job can politely yeah. Yeah, because somebody has to explain to the homeowner, like, once you tell us if this is where the insulation, if you've already sat down and you've told us where the insulation is being stored when it gets delivered, well, that's where it's going. Like, yeah, I feel for you, Ray. That's a tough one. Well, hopefully you're the owner of, you and your partner, you guys are coming up with a way to charge him for all this extra supervision and detail and work stoppage. Yeah. Hmm. Hey, Meathead, good to see you too. Thanks for jumping in. Where you been? Yeah, sometimes wealthy controlling people, it's great that they have money, but you can't make any money working for them. Ah, chasing elk, nice. Yeah. Ray, that's maybe all you can do in this situation. Where's the meathead? Where's the elk? And Ray, you're doing the best you can. You know, there's not much else you can do at that point. Maybe you guys just take a break and let him figure, the owner let this over controlling owner figure it all out on his own for a week, and then he'll call you back saying, "All right, maybe I can let you guys do your job the way you want to do it." Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, most of your subs will probably just want to get in, get out. Yellowstone, damn. Meathead, Yellowstone. That's awesome. Wow, congratulations, man. Wow, that's awesome. I bet you got some good photos. That's cool. Yeah. Ah, very good. Yeah. So Ray, you know what? You just have to give your subs a heads up. Tell them like, hey, this guy's is overbearing, controlling, and we missed it. We and they'll do the best that they can. So Meathead, who do you go elk hunting with a couple buddies, or how does that work? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Ray. It's gonna be that job just sounds like it's gonna be very challenging for you guys. So, oh, very cool. Wow, 1,500 acres. That's yeah, nice. I've never been elk hunting, but I've been out been out west, and it's beautiful country. So that's amazing. Pretty cool experience. I bet that's awesome. Ray, sometimes with that over controlling homeowner, you can just tell him when he comes in and he's upset, you can say, "Damn, that's got to be frustrating." And you can say, "Sounds like it would be really helpful if you just wrote out everything that you want us to do the way you want us to do it, and then bring it back to us." And like, go give him a task so he gets out of your hair for a while, and then he'll find out that he doesn't know everything he knows because he'd be like, "Well, cool. Just write out how you want us to do everything from here forward, right? You already know how you want us to do the whole job, so go ahead and just write it out for me on a piece of paper, and you bring it back to me maybe what, like an hour or so, and then I'll present it to the crew, and then we'll know exactly what you tell us how we do every phase of the whole project. Just like agree with him that he's right, that he should run it. See where it goes." Yeah. Yeah, you got some yeah, boys, you guys are getting some good weather tomorrow. Gonna finalize. Nice. If he's a So Ray, if he is a like a software guy, like and he does AI, he should totally be able to set you up with a guest account. You can on when you have your own network at your house, you have like usually you have two accounts, and then you can create a guest account, and that won't affect. especially like for you guys, if there's no like natural cell service in the place that you're working, that's totally reasonable for the homeowner to give you access, but he'll just set up a guest account, that you guys can access. And that way it keeps all his other stuff safe and protected, and you guys won't interfere. And you can even joke with him. You mean you don't have a guest account? Like, I thought you were an AI engineer. Like, what's going on here? What kind of business, what kind of software guy are you? Yeah, that's something that should have gotten covered at the pre-construction meeting. Like, how are you guys going to handle communications on site? Like, because at this point, we all know that there's no cell service at the site, but yet if the homeowner has a full-fledged Wi-Fi network, he should be setting up a guest account for you guys. Yeah, that should be your partner should be easily be able to sit down the guy and say, "Hey, where's the guest account for us?" Like, this is what's going on here. Yeah, there's no charge. He shouldn't be charging you guys if that's what you're saying. But no, yeah, you should totally have access. He should be able to set up access for Wi-Fi. That's not going to cost him anything. It's not like you guys are sitting there streaming Netflix, unlimited, all the whole crew for 8 hours a day. So it's not like you're really going to be affecting his bandwidth. Yeah, yeah. Ray, he probably just doesn't like. He's probably just, a lot of engineers are like introverted too. They don't have great. Some of them don't have the best social skills. I don't know. I've never met the guy you're talking about, so I don't know. You know, some people. What's interesting? There's a whole generation of kids that have grown up that don't understand how to communicate in the real world because they never had to get a job. Like if you didn't have to work when you were like 15 and like go get a job as a cashier, work somewhere, you never really learned interpersonal skills like how to interact with the public, how to be accommodating, how to be pleasant. So like if you grew up living in your mom's basement till you were 20 and then you just went and got a job in the corporate world and you sit behind a computer all day, it's possible the guy doesn't even have good social skills. You know? Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're probably just intimidating to him, Ray. You might have to soften your approach a bit. I mean, I'm not saying you have to. I'm saying it might help a little bit. Yeah. Nah, meathead. It really people are people, right? I tell you, it's I can only speak for myself over the years. I weed out a ton of homeowners. There's a lot of people I just don't work for. A lot of jobs I'll pass up. And the reason I do is because the person, it's not the project. Like I would love to do their project, but I can see how difficult that person is. And life is too short, right? Like we all have limited days here. None of us know how long it's going to be. Most of us are hoping it's at least a few more than the one we have right now. But like you don't have time to be spending 3 weeks or 6 months with a homeowner who's just that difficult to be around, when if you're patient and you have good marketing, you'll land a great homeowner. You just have to wait a day or two to line up the perfect homeowner, and then the next 6 weeks can be awesome. But yeah, Ray, sometimes, so Ray, what's interesting is, so I have my personality style, and I have like, you'll have, hopefully you guys have you have your partner. I have like a lead carpenter and my office person. A lot of times I'm not the person that I don't mix well with everybody. So sometimes I can recognize like, hey, we can land this job, but I won't be the one ever interacting with the homeowner after we sell it. Like I'm going to pass it over to my lead carpenter. My office is going to talk to him because for one reason or another, like that person and me, we just sometimes it's oil and vinegar. I would say my experience, like about a third of the people you meet in life, sometimes you just don't. There's something about the way you are naturally, and there's something about the way they are naturally. And you're just like, you rub each other the wrong way. Now, you can do all that you can do to be the bigger person and adjust the way you communicate and accommodate. But sometimes at the end of the day, it still isn't enough, right? That person is still just going to have their opinion. And sometimes, like, I use the term, you got to cut bait, right? So it may not be you, like Ray, you got to just be you sometimes. Maybe somebody else needs to step in or sometimes, like in my situation, sometimes we just don't work for the homeowner. If I think they're going to be that difficult, nah, I recommend to my competition. We move on to the next one. So it's tough. I'm hearing you because you know what's happening. You guys are dealing with all these headaches right now. Now, yeah, you have this job. It looks profitable up front. You're like, we got all this profit. But if he's like this for the whole job, you guys are going to end up probably losing money on this project when it's all said and done. If this is how it's going and you're only like a week or two into it. Yeah, commercial work. Yeah, I mean, everybody has their lane, meathead. If commercial work can be much better, you're not dealing with, in the commercial world, generally you're dealing with intellectual, level-headed people. They take their emotion out. This is what we need built. Here's the plan. I need it done by this date. It needs to cost this much. You just go in, you get out, because you're not living with the person, because you're not in their house, right? When we go into somebody's house, it gets emotional because that's where the homeowner lives. Yeah, emails. That's a good idea, Mita. You can. Yep. Yeah. You can totally set up a fake account within your, like, when I first got started, I had one or two homeowners at first. They were a little challenging to get paid. So I just created a new person in my company that was from the finance department and would email and say, "Hey, we're following up on Mike's invoice. He gave it to you 3 weeks ago. It's still unpaid. We need to reconcile this account. How are we going to do that? We don't want to have you incur any extra late fees or penalties." And sometimes they'll listen better to somebody else, but it can still be you. They just don't know it's you. So yeah, the email can work really well. Got him to buy. All right, Ray. Well, it sounds like he's willing to help you guys out a little bit and invest in some things. Ray, he might just be nervous. I don't know. Maybe you guys will work it out, in the next couple weeks. I do think somebody should talk to him, but who knows? Maybe he won't be so bad at the end of all this. Yeah, I don't know. Uh-oh. Looks like, yeah, some people are emotional. That's for sure. Yep. He might be scared. He's probably intimidated for one. I'm gonna tell you right now, like you guys, if you've been in doing this for a while, you already noticed this. Now, usually, do you guys find this a lot? Like I can't tell you how many times I'm dealing with the wife, right? The husband will tell me I was gonna do the job, but I got this back injury, and he's like I was gonna do the job, but I got so much work going on in my other thing, and we all know it's a lie, right? But you sometimes have, they're intimidated, right? Because for a man, like when you can't fix a thing in your own house and you have to have another man come in and fix everything in your house because you don't know anything, that can be tough. And like, I'm assuming that's probably a little bit what's happening with this engineer. He's probably intimidated by you guys because like you have real skills. You come in and like do the real work. Yeah. Yeah, so he's acting out. He just I've found that people act out like children. They really resort to being like It's like being at the playground back when you were like in middle school and you took the ball away from little Billy and Billy got all pissed because somebody stole his ball. So then Billy goes and runs and grabs the ball and then he runs away and he's like, I'm going to go home. I'm not playing with you guys anymore. You know what I mean? Like, come on, dude. Like, it sounds to me like you're dealing with a 30-some-year-old adult physically, but inside, emotionally, intellectually, he's probably like 7. So that can be challenging. Short sentence. There you go, Mita. You've got it figured out now. Yeah. Hmm. I like it. Yeah. Um, Ray, you know what? Sometimes, I don't know, like, sometimes try to have fun with the guy. And what I mean is, don't make fun of him directly, but like entertain him and be like, yeah, you're right. That was silly that we put that shit there. Where should we put the shit? And sometimes I don't, what I'm trying to get at is sometimes if you can laugh at the ludicrousness of it, it might calm the situation down. Like just recognize that he's an ass. He doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. Sometimes you just got to get through the job too. Yeah. There you go, meathead. Exactly. I mean, some people are strange, man. There really are some strange people out there. Everybody's got their thing. We're all a little unique. We're all a little different. I don't know. I don't always want to know what people are into. Sometimes it's just best not to even open that closet door. You know what I mean? Just don't even look there. Because once you go in, you ain't coming back the same. Yeah, cut construction. Yeah. The short shorts. Yeah, yeah. I got you. So, yeah. You know it. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Like, it doesn't take that long to be in the industry to recognize some people are into some interesting stuff. And everybody's got their thing. I don't know. I just like to get in, do the remodel, and get out. But it is when you're in residential remodeling, it is much different than commercial because you end up being a little bit of a therapist, or at least you're getting exposed to people's behind the scenes, right? Because here's the thing: most people they have a face. They can, like when I'm here and I do this video, I can come in, I can be prepared, I can act presentable, I can make sure my shirt's. All right. Now, here's the thing. An hour later, you guys don't know what's happening in my house or at my office. I could be running around naked. Nobody knows, right? You know what I'm trying to say. So when you're in somebody's house and you're doing the remodel, it's tough for them because they can't be who they normally are. And some people are just jerks. Some people are weird. Some people are nice. But when they come home from work, they've usually had to put on something, right? Like they've had to act a certain way. And when they come home, they like to just be who they are without any energy. And it's tough if they have remodelers in their house because sometimes they have to still play nice. And some people can't do that. Yeah. And so when what I usually find is a lot of homeowners are good for like the first week or two, but then that's it, man. They break. They just can't do it anymore. They can't be pleasant. It's because some people just are angry. Some people hate their lives. They hate their jobs. They hate their spouse. They hate their kids. They hate the neighborhood that they live. Whatever. They just hate everything, and that starts coming out. And unfortunately, when people have that much anger and resentment, they end up putting it out on you guys because you're the one who's in their house doing the remodel. And it's not like they're really necessarily pissed at you specifically. You just happen to be in their firing line when they're pissed. Yeah. So, Ray, if you recognize, so this is a good thing. Like if you're able to recognize hear me on this, and it might sound silly, but follow me for a second. If he comes in and he starts throwing a temper tantrum, say, "Man, I feel for you," and he'll be like, "What do you mean?" I says, "I bet it's got to be tough," and then he'll look at you again. You say, "I get it, man. I know what it's like. I've had to have a lot of pain. Like I've got this knee, whatever." You just and he'll keep looking at you and be like, "Well, you're obviously in a lot of pain. Like something's really bothering you because we both know that it's not the remodeling that's got you this upset. So, like, how are you doing? All right? Like, can I get you something? Would you like to sit down for a minute? Do you need some medication?" You almost want to just like try to help understand, like, brother, where's all the anger coming from? Because we both know that, like, the remodeling, this is like a first world problem. Like, in the grand scheme of things, you're remodeling your house, dude. Like, you're very fortunate. You're one of the if you have a house and you have more than $4,000, you're like among some of the richest people in the world. Now, I'm not saying you're rich in America, but like most of the world doesn't even have a roof over their head, doesn't have hot water and consistent meals and drive a car and work as an engineer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he starts first thing in the morning. I got you. Yeah, you haven't even. I got you, Ray. 100%. Maybe your empathy would kick in closer to like after lunch, because first thing in the morning you're still getting going yourself. I got you. Mm, I don't know, Ray. I think you and this engineer might be bonding. You two might be buddies before you know it. He's gonna start pulling you aside and complaining about your team, but he's gonna like you. That's what I think's gonna start happening. You'll be his buddy. You and him, you'll form this little bond, little remodeling bond, and he'll come to you and say, "This is frustrating. What can we do about this?" Yeah, man. Have a good one, Ray. I want to hear an update with you and your new best friend next week. All right. There you go. Meathead, are you guys using AI anything other than like ChatGPT yet for the business? Are you guys trying to do anything, make it use anything to like help with videos or yeah, trying to get anything to answer our phone calls or anything like that? Okay, yeah. How do you like the Nano Banana? All right, and help me understand, what have you done? Um, like, have you made? Or how are you using? Are you using it to make a video to show to customers? Are you like how exactly are you doing it? Is it something you're putting out on, like, is it on your website now? Are you using it for your advertising on social media? Are you just using it for fun too? Or are you? Yeah, yeah. Try to keep the process lighter. No, that makes sense. Sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Some days we have to sit back and remember, like, we're just doing. I mean, we're doing remodeling, right? In the grand scheme of things, like most people, if they can afford to have a remodeler come into their house and give them a new kitchen or build an addition off the back, life ain't so bad at the end of the day. I'm not saying we don't all have things happening, and I'm sure somebody in the family is probably struggling with a health issue, or but things could be much worse. It can, yeah. You think the going through a home remodel can be for some people for sure. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people really struggle with having their general. First, it's having your daily routine turned upside down. Man, I can't, like, for kitchens, I can't tell you how many times we now, like, have to set up a temporary kitchen. Like, if that's the first day one is setting up a temporary kitchen for a lot of people. Yeah. No, you're right, people do. Yeah, especially, like, first thing in the morning, right? They like to get up. Usually, we have to set up, the coffee maker, like, the microwave, yeah, so that they can come down and just get first thing going in the morning. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. A lot of people really, if you disrupt their normal pattern, if you wake them up too early, if they have to get up early, because, like, let's say, like, your crew starts at 7 and they don't like to get up at 7, but now they do. They start getting cranky and pissed off. They want to kick the dog, but they can't kick the dog because you're there. And yeah, yeah, yeah. It gets challenging for them for sure. But you have a good. I can tell you get it. You, like, have that intuition. You understand what's happening. Exactly. Yet they want to try to wake up and look like they're responsible people. Like, no, I'm not lazy. I've been up. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've been up for like 2 hours at this point already, minimum, before you even show up at their house, doing all the other things you got to do to get ready just to even get to their house. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. And meanwhile, they're trying to tell you how their life's so hard with their cushy job. Yeah. Right. You've done more work by the time you get to their house than they probably do by noon. Exactly. Mm, yeah, mm. Yeah, it gets interesting for sure. Yeah, plus I think nowadays, I think a lot of homeowners really feel helpless. Yeah, could be. Tell me a little bit more. How do you mean when you say, like, you mean like when you look at what you do on a daily basis? Yeah. Yeah, I can, it's interesting. Before, nah, I worked in, when I my first couple of jobs I worked in a corporate setting. I got into sales. And now we had to start early. We had to be in at like 7. But it was all in an office. You know, you show up at the office, then you go out into your vehicle, you drive around, you visit some businesses, you introduce yourself, you have a couple meetings, you have a lunch, you maybe have another meeting or two, introduce yourself to a few. You come back to the office at the end of the day, and like 2 or 3 days a week, we would have to stay late, make phone calls, stuff like that. But the work was like mentally challenging, but physically not challenging at all, right? But you didn't have all the prep work. Like in remodeling, you have to work like sometimes 2 or 3 hours just to go do a regular work day. You got to go grab this. You got to make sure your truck has these tools. You got to remember, is it in my garage? Is it at my warehouse? Like, where is this thing that I'm going to need for the next couple days? And it's got to get loaded into the vehicle. It's got to get to the site. You got to make sure it still works. Yeah. Yeah, they don't understand it. Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying. It probably does you no good to describe to them. Yeah. But you're right. I don't think the average person, I think it would be kind of funny if the homeowner was to get up with you, hop in your truck, see all the things that you have to get ready to just come do the job for them, right? All the coordination that's taking place, the scheduling, the follow ups, the changes that are happening. And you're like, we haven't even gotten to the job yet. Like, and that's just par for the course every day. Yeah. Yeah, because most people, if they work an office job, it's completely different. You get in, you get settled, you put your stuff at your desk, you go walk over, get a little coffee, talk to a couple people, say hello, and you mosey back, do a little work for a little, maybe get interrupted by a phone call, have a little meeting, come back, do a little work, then you're off to lunch. You know what I'm saying. It's for some people it can be big difference. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, hey, Mita, what kind of project you have? What are you going to be getting into this upcoming weeks? Do you have something you're going to do? Do you have any work before Thanksgiving, or are you taking off this upcoming week and going to get back to work right after Thanksgiving? Hey, Chris, welcome. If you're new, let me know where you're from. I don't recognize your profile pic. Awesome, Chris. Chris, I'm in Maryland, off the Chesapeake Bay. I'm on like the western side of the shore. Um, yeah. So weather's turned here for sure. It's getting cold, rainy, kind of sucks. But it'll be back to nice warm weather here soon. Awesome. Welcome, Chris. All right. Well, Meathead, thanks for jumping in, and you'll have to let me know how that 3,000 square foot project goes when you get back. Well, I'm sure you'll be in it again, and we'll catch up. Yeah. Chris, a lot of my family's moved. And Meathead, thank you for jumping in. You have an awesome night, and we'll catch up. Chris, a lot of my family's moved down to Florida over the last few years, and awesome. We'll get you. Yeah, that's awesome, Meathead. Take care. Yeah. And I think in a few years, Florida could be the spot. I don't know. Um, what kind of, Chris, what's your specialty? What kind of work do you do? My background, I first got started doing renovation work, right? Would buy a property, rehab it, fix it up, keep it, sell it. rent them, flip them, whatever. Industrial maintenance. Okay. All right. Not real familiar. I'm primarily, residential remodeler. So help me understand. Are you working on like boilers, plumbing, steam work, or what does that entail when you say industrial maintenance? Are you on the electrical side, the plumbing side, or just a facilities person, like helping maintain the buildings themselves? Packaging machines. Okay, cool. I don't know Milo's tea, but I mean, I'm of some I'm familiar with, yeah, with packaging. My cousin works for they do bottling and boxing. They basically they run the manufacturing, and then if you need, let's say you want to start selling your own soft drink, or beer or whatever, something that needs to go into a bottle or can, you talk to him. They get you set up with the cans, the bottles. They get you set up with the packaging, and then you send them the liquids and whatever. Yeah. Okay. You started out in home maintenance. Very cool. Yeah. That's probably a good niche to be in, I could imagine. You probably, yep. Yeah. I mean, you just figuring out the thickness of the can, the type of bottle, what kind of cap we're going to put on it. I mean, he tells me some funny stories about that kind of stuff. But yeah, industrial. It sounds like you probably have an easier time of it being on the industrial side. To me, I would think it's much simpler than getting tangled up with a lot of different homeowners all the time, right? Because uh, if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like you probably have long-term relationships with clients where you just, once you set up a good relationship with them, I'm assuming they are happy to, they're not happy they're calling you, but they like working with you. So because I'm sure it's ongoing, they have to keep calling you back. So it's like you have to service that account. It takes a little bit of a different approach and attitude. Yeah. No, I could see that for sure. Yeah, less drama, less headaches. For them, I mean, I guess unless it's a critical issue, like if a machine's down and their production's shot, I could see them, but they don't. Yeah, they're going to be much more willing to work with you time and time again. They just want whatever's broken back online. Cool. Hmm. Hey there, Bollywood. Is that you? Hey, I appreciate you. I noticed you definitely like a bunch of videos. I appreciate that. I haven't seen you in one of the lives for some time. Okay. Yeah, 24/7. Being on call is tough. That's for sure. You don't tend to sleep well whenever you know you're on call all the time. For a few years, we were doing like insurance type work. Now I would have an answering service answer the phone, but there was a directive at times where they would have to call. Most of the time, I could get the messages in the morning, but for certain clients, certain projects, we had to be on call sometimes, and that was I never enjoyed it. At least personally, I didn't sleep as well while we were doing those projects, but I didn't do that a lot. I didn't do a lot of that kind of work. Yeah, brother. Go. Yeah, man. Thanks for jumping in, and appreciate you throwing in a couple comments. Have an awesome night. Hollywood, how's the if I remember correctly, I think you do electrical work. You're out on the West Coast. How are things? What do we have? 6'2" Freebird, welcome. I don't know if I've seen, you might have been in one of these before. I don't recall chatting with you. If you're new, let me know what part of the country you're from. Well, all right. Well, 6'2" Freebird, you welcome to hang out. So some of the other AI stuff I was going to talk about, I don't know if you're using AI or not, and if that's what brought you in here. A lot of guys need to create like you need a presentation, right? When you're going to meet with a homeowner to show them what your company does, how you do it. So there's a couple of things you can use out there. One's called Gamma, Gamma. There's another called Tome, Tome. And then there's another one called Decktopus, Decktopus. And anyway, it can help you create a clean visual if you're not a person that likes to do slides and create presentations like in Microsoft or Canva. So most of the time you can get a nice little homeowner presentation package completed in about 10 minutes if you're using one of these AI apps. All you have to do is type in a couple things that you wanted to say specifically. Hopefully you have a couple photos. You upload the photo that you want in the visual. And you talk about your budget range that you're trying to help the homeowner decide on. Like I recommend you have more than one price to present to a homeowner. You should offer like 3 ranges: good, better, best. Start with the best, then do the better, and then do the good. And then third thing for some of you guys is, hey Douglas Parker, welcome. If you want to set up no code and do some animations, automations, you want to do a CRM, you want to set up a workflow with triggers, a good tool to look into is Flowwise, or maybe use make.com. And this can help you set up some auto follow-ups. It can help you trigger to send the customer reminders so that they do reviews for your company just as you're finishing up a project. You can automate your reminder and heads up for whenever payments are due. So if you're set on a job and you have 4 progress payments, and you can even set up a drip schedule so that you're updating the homeowner. Like, hey, next week we're going to be doing sheetrock. The week after that, we're doing painting. This you can set up a workflow and a trigger so that it just starts happening automatically. So, anyway, if you're new, welcome. Let me know where you're from. All right. Well, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Appreciate you all being here, and have a good one. See you next time.